Alright, welcome to AstroEconomica. So today we're going to break down some business economic and some of the strategic dollars and cents behind some headlines we're seeing from the space industry and related areas of news. So today we're digging into a story that's shaking up the U.S. military space sector. We have a few different sources here. From Yahoo, Web Pro News, and then this one, let's see, I forget the Grand Pinnacle Tribune. Go back so we don't have to see all their advertisements. So after looking through these three sources, can do a little quick overview so you can get a bit of a digest and try to think of this from the perspective of space economics and the space business sector. So President Trump decided and announced his decision on September 2nd, 2025 to relocate the U.S. Space Command headquarters from Colorado Springs, Colorado to Huntsville, Alabama. Now this isn't just a simple move, it's a high-stakes decision with billions of dollars, thousands of jobs, and the future of America's military space posture all on the line. So let's unpack the economic and business implications of this decision. So first you have the direct economic impact. We're looking at approximately 1,400 high-skilled, high-paying jobs that will be transitioning to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville over the next 5 years. So for Colorado, this is a pretty big hit. The local Chamber of Commerce in Colorado Springs estimated the headquarters brings in about $1 billion in annual economic impact. So losing that federal spending is a major economic hit for the state. But now we'll flip that coin, and for Alabama, on the other side of this equation, this is a massive economic win. So President Trump claimed the move would bring 30,000 jobs to the state and spark hundreds of billions of dollars in investment. That's a quote. Though it's important, we should note that more concrete figure that is cited in some of these articles is the 1,400 direct jobs. So we know that there's at least that. Regardless of whatever the exact numbers are going to be, the influx of personnel and federal dollars promises to bolster Huntsville's Rocket City reputation and create thousands of high-tech jobs, stimulate the local suppliers and contractors that are there. Officials in Alabama are clearly celebrating this as a long overdue economic and strategic correction in their opinion. But what about the cost to the taxpayer? This is where the numbers get really interesting. So you have the critics of this move who, including congressional delegations from Colorado, are saying that uprooting this already established headquarters is a waste of taxpayer dollars. It already exists. It's going to cost money to move, and that's a waste to do so. The GAO, the Government Accountability Office, has estimated that this transition could incur up to $1 billion in relocation costs alone. So that's a big number. That's a hefty price tag, especially when you consider that the Pentagon budgets are already stretched thin by modernization efforts in other areas like hypersonics and cyber defense. So a Department of Defense Inspector General review found that it would take 3 to 4 years to establish this new headquarters in Alabama. And that is comparable to what already exists in Colorado. So from a purely financial perspective, that raises some questions about the efficiency and the resource allocation going on. Now, if you want to shift to defense contracting and private industry side of this, this is where we see the real ripple effects that come out. These articles make it clear that both the Huntsville and the Colorado Springs are major hubs for the aerospace industry because it is the homes to giants like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Raytheon, L3 Harris. So a move of this magnitude sends a real powerful signal to the market. The defense contractors follow the money and the mission. So for companies with a strong presence in Colorado, this could mean facing the difficult decision to either relocate key personnel or end up risk losing their proximity, their location physically to their primary customer, SpaceCom, or Space Command. So conversely, firms with a foothold in Alabama, or those willing to expand there, are now in a prime position. These articles note that some firms, like Raytheon, were already positioning themselves for an expansion into Alabama because they were anticipating a move like this happening. Now, from an economic perspective, Huntsville's aerospace ecosystem is a key part of its appeal. The city already houses the Army's Redstone Arsenal and NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. So the side of this that is a proponent of the move says that, well, this can create mission synergy. It can allow for enhanced collaboration, particularly with NASA. And for businesses, this co-location of military and civilian space assets could streamline their partnerships or partnerships that they might create. It can foster more innovation and create a more concentrated pool of engineering talent that they could draw on. So this is a strategic move to consolidate space-related commands to enhance efficiency. So you have one side saying this is not efficient, the other saying this is going to be more efficient. Only time will tell. But the decision-making process itself has introduced a level of uncertainty, and that can be challenging for businesses always. So the headquarters location has been sort of a political football now for a few years. The Air Force initially recommended Huntsville back in 2021, saying that this is the most cost-effective and mission-ready location for them. And then President Biden reversed that in 2023, keeping it in Colorado. So now President Trump has reversed it yet again, and so this back and forth decisions from different administrations makes it difficult for long-term strategic planning for these defense contractors who need stability in order to make investment decisions. So in 2023, the Government Accountability Office had their report that even criticized the initial selection process for lacking transparency and credibility, which only adds to the sense of political maneuvering. So ultimately, the relocation of Space Command is a textbook example of how deeply intertwined military strategy, political calculations, and economic interests have become in this space domain. So for Alabama, potential economic boom that solidifies its role as a central player in the national defense and space exploration. For Colorado, it represents a significant economic loss and a setback for its already established defense sector that they had. And for the defense contractors in the broader space industry, it's a major disruption that creates both a lot of potential opportunity and considerable risk. Most of that opportunity comes from the risk. But it's going to be forcing them to adapt to a new strategic and a new political landscape. So that's all the time we have for today's news. That's the big headline we're seeing here at AstroEconomica. So we'll see you next time, and we'll keep following the money and see how it shapes the future of space.